Started off, Bilal. Let's just talk about Bilal first. His imprint on the game, all over the place defensively, steals, blocks, deflections, made obviously the big play late, but he did it from the very beginning. And that's what we talked about as a group. We talked about this before the game with you guys a little bit. We were 3 for 19 in the first half from 3. It didn't stop us from guarding, defending, hustling, scrapping. Sometimes you have to grind out games in the NBA. We grinded that one out because of our defense, and Bilal was the head of that for sure tonight. You guys got questions? Go ahead.
Brian, what specifically did you think made Bilal as effective as he was defensively there? Was it technique? Was it effort? Was it?
He used his gifts that he has, but it was also his mentality. No possessions off, contested every pass, every dribble, every shot, pressured their main player. I thought it was just a terrific all-around effort from him, and it wasn't about scoring. It was just he was doing what his job was necessary to help us win the game, and then he obviously made a couple plays there late, made a big 3, but it was his defense that set the tone for the whole team.
What did you think was key to the comeback there? You guys were trailing, I think, 16 midway through that third quarter.
Team win. Look at our bench, what they did, the contributions of all the guys who came in, Tristan, Cam, JC, Bub. I don't know what the total points they had, but I think it was pretty high. They all contributed, and they sustained us going to the fourth quarter, got us back in the game. Thought those guys were terrific in both halves tonight. It was a total team win. Nice job by those guys.
Going back to Bilal and his defense on Giannis, and I know when it comes to a player of that magnitude, it's not just a one-on-one matchup that you speak to, but his ability and mindset tonight seemed different than what we've seen in the past. It almost seemed like he took this a little bit more personal in the sense of like, I'm going to make it as difficult as possible on you tonight, and then subsequently fouling him out of the game on that play. Just where has his mindset shift come from, especially in these last 5 or 6 games?
He's just getting his rhythm. He's getting back. He missed the whole preseason with us, all the training in September. So he's just kind of getting his rhythm back, but that's what he's capable of doing. He's done that in multiple games here lately. Tonight he was the one who put the imprint on the game to get everybody going, and you saw it from the very get-go. It was a really impressive performance by him.
From an offensive standpoint, the way that the others, if you will, you mentioned, Bub, JC, Cam, the way they just kind of maintained a composure throughout, knowing that if we can get it to the fourth quarter and we're close, the OGs in a way can kind of help us take it over the edge. What does that resiliency in them look like, especially from a defensive mindset? To Josh's point, you were down 16 in the third quarter.
We just played possession by possession. We just focused on the next thing that was in front of us. And I give all the guys credit. They stayed focused on what their job was to do, calling out the coverage, executing the game plan. And then we kept trusting with the pass. We were just missing some shots that were great shots in the first half. We said the tide will turn, just keep defending. And that showed good resilience in us, that not every game is perfect in the NBA. That just doesn't work that way. Our guys stayed with it, and they stayed with their mentality really defensively to keep us in that game. But great contributions by everybody tonight.
Coach, to Megan's point about the OGs, Chris and CJ, especially there in the last 3 minutes or so, hit some very tough shots off of what looked like maybe broken plays. Can you just speak to their tough shot-making ability in situations like that?
Well, I think we could have a high rate reel for about 20 minutes of those guys doing that throughout their career. That's what they've been doing for a long time. Those guys are great players. Great players make great plays. Literally lucky to have both those guys within our organization.
I asked you about a pregame, and you mentioned briefly Marvin and Tristan specifically taking over front court duties with Alex gone. Can you take appraisal of their performance?
Look at their production tonight. Look at what they did on the court. Contributions on both ends of the floor, defensively, offensive boards by Marvin, obviously. The scoring, big deal. I think they had 38 between them. We're pretty good.
You guys won the rebounding battle by 7, got a bunch of offensive rebounds. What were Justin Champagnie and Marvin Bagley able to do in that area in particular?
That's what Justin Champagnie is one of the best rebounders for his position in the league offensively, and Marvin's been doing this his whole career. That's what their strengths is, but I thought they even had a little extra tonight. Those guys were terrific.
Hey, Coach. It seemed like Cam Whitmore had a pretty mature approach to this game, too, picking his spots. How does this kind of performance sort of speak to the strides he's made since joining the Wizards?
Like I've said before, he's growing right, too. He's This is only his third year in the league. We act like he's been around a long time, but now it's new for him, and he's with a new team. I think he's done a great job of adjusting into our environment and been terrific at how he works and how he gets after his craft. And then he's just getting used to playing with his teammates. So every game he's growing and learning how to play with these guys. Obviously, big contributions for him tonight on both sides of the ball. It's really pleased with him tonight.
Sure. And even if Keyshawn didn't have as many points as he usually did, Marvin did. What can you say to Keyshawn's ability to keep, feeding the big man towards the end there?
I think that was great. Keyshawn didn't have one of his better offensive games. He would be the first to admit that. But what he did late in that game showed unbelievable growth. He made some of those great dump-off passes, got in the paint, simple little passes to Marvin. He kept the scoreboard moving for us in the crunch. It wasn't just CJ and Chris. He was handling and making plays. From having a little bit, maybe a tough struggle offensively, he ended up having like 3 or 4 big assists down the stretch of the game that were huge. Big deal. When things aren't going well, what are you going to do? And he just hit the stride late in the game. He stayed with it. It was terrific.